Hi folks, Dave Schmidt here. It's the afternoon of April 29th, and obviously I'm back in Fort Worth, Texas after a wonderful workshop that we had in the Philadelphia area over the weekend. So for tomorrow's update on the radio program on April 30th, what is it that's taking place and what is it that's happening? Well, there's not a lot. And let me explain what I mean by that. All of the work of the logistical, technical issues that needs to be put into place for the RV to happen, it's all done. Everything is done. Sunday night, I had over a half-hour conversation with G-Man, and I've been talking with other sources as well. And the different people who are getting their information from the different sources were all basically saying the same thing. It's in place, it is done, the bonds are done, the banks are notified, they are aware, now they have to keep it quiet until it goes public. So the question that we're all asking is, then why isn't it public? There's one more thing that's happening, and it's some of the final negotiations that are going on with the folks at the very top. Now these are pay grades far higher than me and all the other blog writers and the sources that are reporting to you, regardless of who they are. I'm going to tell you what I think is my opinion. Have I had somebody come right out and tell me this is who they are? No, because they're not talking about it. But it's putting things together. It's basically saying 2 and 2 adds up to be 4. You know, you start putting stuff together, you can kind of begin to make sense of what's going on. And here's, in my opinion, is what I think is who is happening in these negotiations that we're waiting for this to take place. It's negotiations between the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and some of the powers that be with the U.S. government. It comes back again to the conflict that the United States, the powers within the United States, don't want to give up their power over having veto of power and total voting control over the IMF. But here's what we've had with the IMF. With the coalition of the BRIC countries, they have basically gone to the United States and say, the voting power is totally out of balance with the realistic situation of the world global currency supply. United States, you don't have that much power anymore. You're bankrupt, you're out of money, you're broke, you're so far in debt, you don't hold the power that you used to hold anymore, and we want to redo this so that you don't have, in essence, 100% veto control over the IMF. And the IMF folks are saying, United States, we don't really need you anymore. We can do this without you, but we're going to give you a choice that we can negotiate and come to a negotiated agreement of what is a reasonable and rational way to come to the settlement. Now, why are they saying that? They could just pull out and say, we don't need you. Well, even though the United States individually as a country doesn't have the financial power that they used to, there is still the power of what is called the global marketplace. The stock markets and the companies within the United States, they still hold a lot of power. And what does that mean? There's always been this quote that's been out there in the trading circles of the markets. It says, when the United States sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. And the powers within the United States know that. They're telling the folks in the IMF, yes, you could go on, you could basically disband this current IMF, go create a new one, and you could do that all on your own, and you could leave without us. But if you do that, it will create dramatic effects upon the markets in your countries. So yes, you're going to have a somewhat of a damaging effect if you choose to go that route. So these powers within the United States are realizing, yes, it's game over. They don't have the power anymore. But they still have some negotiating power to try to get some more of what they want. And that's what's going on here. It's what I call the cabal forces here within the United States are telling the BRIC countries within, the IMF to say, go ahead and try it. You do that, you're only going to hurt yourself. Yeah, you'll eventually get what you want, but you'll set a lot of us back if you do. And I think that is where the final negotiations are taking place. And when I've been saying it's day to day, it truly is day to day. Because they could choose to come to a settlement tomorrow. Or they could choose to let this go on for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or another month. Nobody knows. And can I reiterate that? Nobody knows. None of the blog reporters, myself, even G-Man in the position that he is in, he says himself, Dave, I don't even know what's going on at that level. Those are negotiations from top world leaders that are going on, and they're not letting it out what's taking place. And that basically is the final straw, and that is what we are waiting for. So some of you have been emailing me and says, where's the update? Where's the news? You're not giving us any news. And I'm saying, there isn't any news. There isn't hardly any new news. And remember what I've always said, I always come back to these two bottom line questions. Who's footing the bill, and who's going to pay the money? Well, the people that are footing the bill and the people that are paying the money, they are saying all the logistics are in place. We're now waiting for these top-level financial people, the power people in the political circles around the world to make up their final negotiations. And when that is done, then you're going to see this released. It's going to be released in stages. It's not going to happen all at once, and it's not going to happen overnight. So when other people, and when this is what I always say, beyond answering those two questions, most of what comes out is just chatter. Now, sometimes there's good chatter, but most of it is just chatter. That's all that it is. So if you're hearing people coming up and saying things and all kinds of other stuff that's going on, yeah, it's good information if you want to follow it. It's just chatter to me. And I put it in the context of those two questions and what does it mean. And if it's just a bunch of chatter, I don't pay a lot of attention to it because I don't want to spend my time getting caught up in what I call the soap opera dramas around Dinar Land. I don't really like the soap operas. I'd rather focus on what's productive and what's helping all of us. With that note, the folks that were attended the workshop in the Philadelphia area over the weekend were just absolutely wonderful. And they said absolutely wonderful things. And I could tell that they love it. You know, a good sign of a good seminar or a good workshop is at the end of the day, when you've been there all day long through hours and hours of lectures and talking and questions and answers and stuff like that. At the end of the day, when it's over, you don't pick up and leave. You hang around for a while. You ask more questions. You interact with each other. You develop networks with each other. There's an energy of love and information that takes place in that environment. And that's what happened again. It happened at Dallas-Fort Worth, and it happened here again in Philadelphia. And on May 10th, we're going to have one in Sedona. Now, later today, I'm working on getting the locations in May 31st in Chicago. But I have another announcement. On May 17th, we're having a special workshop in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, I've been invited to go there and do one for some folks there. Now, this is a different situation, because here's the scenario. It's being put on by the local people, and they have invited me to come. And it's going to be in a church in San Juan, and there'll probably be somewhere between 500, 700, even up to 800 people that are going to be there at this workshop that I'm going to do. And you know, folks, the folks in San Juan, Puerto Rico don't have quite the same economy that a lot of us do here in the mainland of the United States. So I'm going on a special arrangements for them. They are making all the arrangements. I get to show up and do the workshop, and I'm going to take a couple days of vacation. I wouldn't mind having that. But here's the other situation. If you want to come, folks from around the world in the mainland United States, if you want to come, you will be able to come to the workshop in San Juan at the regular rates of $99 for an individual, $79 each if you're in a couple situation. There will be no scholarships that I offer. That is totally what they are doing at the local place. Don't expect to come from the mainland and have the scholarship rate in San Juan. But if you do want to come, maybe have a quite little short vacation in a wonderful place in the Caribbean where there's some nice, wonderful blue water beaches and stuff like that, come and have a vacation and come for a one-day workshop. May 17th, Saturday, May 17th, we'll be doing that one. I'll be coming out with another newsletter in the next couple of days with the updates on the workshops. And folks, it's a great time. There's something about the experience of being together with others, okay? Tomorrow night's radio program, there's not a lot of discussion that's going to go on. It's going to be a lot of just telling you what I just told you, not a lot of new information other than the fact that we're waiting for the top power bees, the political powers, to finish their negotiations. And when that happens, releases will come, and they'll be coming in various stages. But that's how close we are, folks. It truly is day to day. The most important thing we can all do right now is be patient. Not allow yourself to get caught up into the soap opera drama. Not allow yourself to get caught up into asking all kinds of questions. Not allow yourself to get caught up into the worry, the frustration, the wondering, when, how, I gotta know. Relax. Bring yourself to the place of peace. Bring yourself to the place of calmness and enter into that within yourself. and know that the greatest blessings, that is a major shift and change in world history, is about to come upon us. Radio program tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can always go to my website, thesedonaconnection.com. The links will be there. And a lot of it tomorrow night is just taking a lot of your questions, because we'll take the full 2 hours and we'll do that. So folks, call in, okay? Thanks a lot. Love all of you. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.